What's up, guys? Headed out for the morning. Got a couple little jobs to do today. Be an easy day, just a good bit of driving. So want to let you guys see what we did. Okay, you saw the thumbnail in the video. It's a picture of our boo-boo. We need a boo-boo. A couple weeks ago we were cleaning the roof on a local hotel. It's actually like the only hotel in our town. We were able to reach 3/4 of the roof from one end of the building, park the truck. It's 2-story, but the roof is very flat. Got up there, applied roof cleaner, got back down, and we had to move the truck around to the opposite end to get the last little piece there. So we do, roll everything up, move around, get the ladder, bring it around, set the ladder back up, go up, and as I was going up to start that side, my hose was on the wrong side of a exterior floodlight that they have mounted up to the top of the building. So I set my wand down, again, pretty flat roof, set my wand down and walked back down, got the hose and moved it over the light. And something in that process caused the hose that I had up on the roof, I had probably 30 feet laid out, on the roof line. It started sliding down. Never a good sign. Best case scenario is you bust your wand. So I'm 2 stories up and I'm just watching it because I can't do anything. I'm not going to run to try to catch this thing and risk falling. So it just falls off the roof, and pretty as you please, it busts out the back glass there that you saw in the picture, the owner's minivan. His van was not there when we came around to that side. He pulled around behind us after we got set up. And in hindsight, I should have just said, hey, probably need to park somewhere else. But it was pretty far away from the building. There's a good bit of landscaped area and a curb. And then the truck was there and he parked behind us. I don't know, probably 15, 20 feet maybe. So I did spot it, but I didn't make him stop, and I should have. Because when that hose slid off with all that speed to it, and the more it's falling, the quicker it's going, what happened is it caused the wand not to just come off and go straight down. It kind of flipped it over that way. And so the wand got kicked over, and the wand is what busted the glass out. It just hit right in the center of that window. And so, instant, oh crap. It was a Monday too, so that tells you how the day was going. And I got down, we went inside and was like, hey man, we just had an accident out here. And they were pretty calm about it. They weren't really upset. So I don't think they actually drove that van very much and just stayed there at the hotel. So I took photos of the van, took a photo of the tag, got his information, documented what time it was, and I got on the phone with our insurance company, went ahead and started a claim. So it took them a while to get that piece of glass. They don't make that. That's a Volkswagen Routon. They don't make that thing anymore. So it took about 2 weeks, and I really hated that because they were, inconvenienced that long. But they finally got the piece of glass put back in. Insurance company took care of. Safe Light came out and handled it, put the glass in. So the moral of the story is, number one is take your precautions. And we usually, we take every precaution that we can see, we try to take it. You don't want to really take shortcuts on stuff because that's what can happen. That's what can happen. It sounded weird when I said it the first time. If you're working like we are full-time, 5 days a week, doing 1,000 jobs a year, eventually you're going to break something. Sometimes it's something you can fix. You just let the homeowner know, hey, I broke your little thing out here. Solar lights, I hate freaking solar lights. They're cheap, they're flimsy, and hoses love to get wrapped around them. So watch out for stuff like that in the lawn on residential stuff. These guys, one time, they had these little decorative spiral blown glass things. They were like 4 foot tall, and bumped it, and it like, you could just look at it hard and it would break. But we were able to put some super glue on that and fix it, and you couldn't even tell where it broke it. But I did let them know, hey, we cracked this thing out here, but we fixed it. You come look at it, you tell me if it's good, and if not, we'll replace it. And they look, oh, that's fine, ain't no big deal. They're really brittle, we put them outside, But on this instance, they wasn't no fixing this one. So I say that to say, if you're full-time, you're working, you take all your precautions, and what you're going to do is you're just going to minimize the chances of something happening. But there's always a chance that something can happen. I used to be a safety manager for Walmart at a distribution center, and we had like over 1,000 people work there, and it was my job to make sure that people were working safely. And one of the things I absolutely hated was the mentality and the saying that all accidents can be prevented. And that's baloney. Anybody with a brain in their head knows that all accidents can't be prevented, because you can't look into the future and see what all scenarios, guys would get a splinter in their hand from moving a pallet. There's like 100,000 pallets in this warehouse. People are touching them all day long, moving them, picking them up, stacking them, and a guy gets a splinter, and he comes up, and they want us to say, first thing, well, what could you have done to prevent that? Well, I guess he could have used mind control and picked the pallet up, like that. He could have had mutant powers, or, he could have put on leather gloves, but you can't prevent everything. What you do is you take steps to minimize as much as possible the chances of something happening, but you still got to get work done. So you got to find that balance, and we do a pretty good job because this is our first claim, so we've never had to use our insurance. But you do want to make sure you're insured, because that piece of glass was $550, which is a lot for a piece of glass. And yeah, I could have swung that, I could have paid that out of pocket, but what if it had been something else and it was $5,000? That would have been a really, really bad day, right? So our insurance that we use is Hiscox. A lot of guys in the service business use them. No complaints from us. It cost me about $650 a year. I got $2 million worth of coverage, residential and commercial, and it's easy. I pay them online, and it's just smooth. So there's other companies out there you can look into, but I highly recommend. I've got questions before, and I've seen guys, I always like to ask them, are you got your insurance stuff squared away? Because if you don't, what'll happen is you're part-time, you do it on the weekends, you don't think you need insurance, and then your business keeps growing, and you forget about it until something happens, and then you're like, oh crap, I need to go get insurance. Well, it's too late at that point. You've already broke something. So go out and find you some insurance, shop around. You can usually get pretty good rates. This type of industry, it's pretty straightforward. It's not like a high-risk industry, but something can happen. Anything can happen. So make sure you're insured. Yeah, and that was our first claim. So hopefully we won't have another one for a long, long time. But take all your steps to minimize damaging something. Even when you think you're good, you still may not be. So you got to be focused on what you're doing at all times, and make sure you're not being any more risky than you absolutely have to be when you're doing something. So that's number one. Number two is make sure you got insurance, man. It's just it's a good peace of mind. It's cheap money to know that when something breaks, yeah, it's a bad day, but you're covered and you don't have to freak out. I know people, I keep full coverage on both of our vehicles, mine and my wife's vehicle. This truck's paid for, but even if it wasn't a work truck, I keep full coverage on it, because if it's just liability, I know people that don't have insurance at all. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Go get yourself some insurance. It's cheap. It's number one, it's mandatory to have liability, but it's not that much money. And then if you have a deer runs out and hits you, it ain't the end of the world. And these are people that can't afford to buy another car, so I don't know what they're thinking, And it's not like they're dirt poor. They can afford insurance, but they'd rather buy stupid crap with it, spend money every day on stuff they don't need. We live in a rural area, and I couldn't tell you how many people around here total their cars out because a deer runs out and hits them. And what are you going to do? You're going to be up the creek, no paddle. So make sure you got some insurance. It's a lifesaver if and when something does happen, and you can just keep on rolling and get it took care of that way. So that's it, dudes. I'll check in with you guys later. Got a little more driving to do, so peace out.